Okay.
Okay, got it. This meeting is being broadcasted. So it takes 1 minute because it has a little of a delay. So I just have to look on my channel here on the phone. Block it live. All right. Perfect. So I'm muted here, I think. And I want to see you live on Zoom. Where are you, Christa? Wait. Now I can see you.
I should be here.
Zoom. Zoom. Christa meeting. Where is it? No. No. Sorry, guys. I lost you.
You lost
Oh,
me. I mean, I can see you perfectly.
yeah, I know. I just like I can see you on YouTube. Where is my screen? Hello. It's okay. Maybe people will get here, you know. Let's just give people a couple of minutes to arrive. Christa, YouTube. And the Zoom. I'm really sorry. I don't know what happened.
It's quite nice. I haven't got a
Where's my
technical issue.
manage participants?
I'm leaving it to you.
Yeah, I'm like, I just don't see our, Zoom section. Hi, Shelley. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking for my screen with Christa on my computer and I can't see it. How can I not see it? Hi, everyone. Hi from France. Hi, I'm from Poland. Christa, where are you based now?
I'm based in Cornwall.
Are you in Cornwall? Okay.
Yeah, in the West Country.
And you live there full time?
I lived there full time. Yeah, I lived in London for quite a while and before that in Berlin. But at the moment, I'm living in Cornwall and I think I'll stay here. It's very nice. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Can you see us now?
No, I can't. So, and where am I recording? Can't I see it? My God.
In the
It's
cloud.
hilarious.
Yes.
I don't know what I did. I just had to like make it smaller or something, but how
So
could
can
it
people
be?
see you on YouTube?
It's okay. I'm going to see you on YouTube, but Christa, this is going to be the weirdest interview without seeing you. I'm going to be seeing you on YouTube.
Okay, that's
with delay.
Oh, that's not so good, is it?
Oh my God, I see you.
Oh,
sorry, guys. Forgive my lack of technical, technological finesse.
We are here.
Oh, we are
All is
here.
good. All is good.
Oh my God. Hello, Christa.
Hello, Kasia. We made it. We made it.
Yay. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry for this delay and for me going a little bit ballistic trying to look for screen where I actually can see Christa and not on YouTube when I can see her with delay. We made it. So let me introduce Christa Mackinnon to you. Christa was a psychologist, is a psychologist, but was practicing psychologist. Now she's a shamanic practitioner.
Yeah.
She's an author of books, and I met Christa first time during Haggitude, which I did this 1 year long course with Sharon Blackie, and she had invited many different speakers to the course, and Christa was one of the speakers. And I don't know if you can believe it, but Christa is not 40 and she's not 50. And I'm looking for women who just are older than me that I find inspiring. And you, Christa, stood out during the Haggitude program. And I thought, I want more women like you. And I would just, and then I found out that you actually, together with Vanessa Tucker, created this medicine woman wisdom cards. And since I'm the lady who does reviews and plays with Oracle and Tarot decks for years, I contacted you, and that's how we got to have you on Inspired Tarot Map to talk about your deck, but mostly also about your work. And I just want to convey inspiring women to us women who are, growing older, and we need more examples of powerful women around. So welcome.
Oh, what a wonderful introduction. Thank you very much, Kasia. And yes, I didn't know that you were on this course. And of course, I'm very flattered that you find me inspiring. And I'm so pleased to be here, really. It's lovely to have a chat, and it's nice to have also a chat about the cards. So how would you like to start?
Well, I would like to actually, before we move into the cards, I would like to ask you about your transition from like academia and psychology or therapy into, shamanic based practices. Like what happened? Can you just tell us, like, introduce a little bit of your
What happened in a nutshell? It was a kind of a long development, coming in a way from academia and from psychology. And I worked for many, many years, fairly international, as a trauma specialist. So at the deep end of psychology. And I also lectured at universities. Um, I got to a point where I just felt, what am I doing here? Do I use all that I can do and all the knowledge I have and all the experience I have to just make people ready again for a society which makes people on the whole psychologically ill? So I just felt that psychology had slowly moved from a very progressive science and from a very progressive science and art, because it's both, to something which slowly became more regressive and didn't cover the whole human.
Yeah.
And I think if to put it in a nutshell, the idea that psychology, if we look at Jung in the early age days, who still included the spirit and the soul, went more and more towards a kind of cognitive science, that it was all about behaviors and beliefs in the end, narrowed the human down. Now, I was always a spiritual person from when I was very young, but that was kind of, for me, the tipping point, that I was looking for something which I could bring into the psychology, but which used a wider definition of the human and the human being within the context of spirit and of the collective, on the collective unconscious, and all of this. And by sheer chance, I stumbled upon shamanism because I was very orientated at the beginning towards the Eastern mythologies like Buddhism and so on. But something was still missing. And what was missing for me was the earth, the groundedness here. And shamanism seemed to be kind of connecting that, the upper worlds and the lower worlds, plus the human embedded within the web of creation in a way. And so that's how it started. And when I did my first shamanic workshop with a shamanic teacher, I felt really like coming home, and I was in my 40s or mid 40s. And then I also had quite some incredible experiences. I had 2 near-death experiences, which also, of course, they influence how you see the world and how you see yourself within it. And these also confirmed to me that psychology just wasn't big enough. Even transpersonal psychology wasn't big enough. So that slowly then just led me more and more to shamanism. And then in my mid-50s, I had another real hit, which resulted in quite a strong life-threatening illness. And that's then when I dropped the whole psychology and said no more, and started working shamanically only. That doesn't mean, and I stop in a second, that doesn't mean that I'm not bringing my whole previous experience into my work. It works well knowing a bit more about what's going on intrapsychically when you work shamanically, because these approaches are not, well, they come from tribal societies and they were different to us. So to combine it is quite nice.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And I think also, we evolve as like society as well. So I think, I don't know, instinctively, I'm a mixer. I love to mix things together because like I love astrology and tarot, let's say, because like we were talking, astrology is much more heady, wordy, much more intellectual in some way, whereas tarot gives this like image. And you were saying that sometimes the word, when you have a therapy session and it's just based on words, it just takes you that far.
Yeah.
Whereas when you add like other kind of sensual means, like drum or sound or touch or smell or something, that just encompasses so much more, I think.
It does. And so not only this, but also which worlds you include. If you just stay on the surface mind level, or whether you include a more spiritual level and bring that in. So it's really all the senses, as you say, but also that. But I love to mix, and I quite like the idea, of that we can use ancient wisdom, but we need to bring it to the level where we are at this moment in time. Now, you and I talked about it. We are living more and more in an electronic world now. To address these kind of developments.
Yeah, exactly.
Our psyche and the brain, that there's nothing there which we can draw from when we look at more ancient traditions.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's also quite empowering because like we creators now as well, like we ancestors to be, like it's not that we just going to draw upon what was created, but I think we are meant to add to this because times are moving, right? Like it's
yeah.
So I think that's very
I think they laid an amazing basis for us because they are, of course, so connected to the earth forces and the spirit forces and the underlying realities in energetic form. They're very, very connected to that and have a lot of experience. But as you say, we are also moving on. We are also, so we need to also connect to other things and but they laid a fantastic foundation, and we need to partly come back to that because we're losing ourselves almost.
Yeah, because if we totally like lose ourselves to the future, then we're losing that whole wisdom. And a lot of that happened, right? To like, I don't know, witch hunts and discreditation of like herbs and like a lot of this. We had like this, science. Science is amazing, answers of the questions, and then changes them in 5 years. Like eggs are good, eggs are not good. Butter is horrible for you. Oh no, butter is great. Like this oil is shit. Now you suddenly go, I don't believe any of this bullshit anymore. I want to know what my body feels good doing, and this is going to be this is good for me. This is not good for me.
I absolutely agree, and really coming back to really being embodied again and being in touch again with our own energetic forces and the forces around us, rather than that heady state of constantly being bombarded with information which we can't distinguish anymore. Which information is actually, as you say, true or not, and what is actually right or wrong. That it has to be much deeper and come from us, and us being grounded again in who we actually are.
Exactly. So would you say that like, when I read about a lot of like shamanic teachers or shamans, they often go through like a life-threatening, not necessarily disease always, but like a situation that kind of like, opens something up, like opens a portal. So for you, it was also like a part of this initiation, you'd say?
Yes and no. It was in so far that it, let's put it this way. In traditional shamanism, I mean, you have really two ways of having a calling. One is really what, as you say, to have this very life-threatening near-death experience where you go often through a longer illness. There are many examples. And what it does is it opens your brain, because you see, your brain, biologically speaking, because you're an organism on this planet, your brain is busy to survive. Survival is the first law of any organism. Yeah. But if your survival is threatened, the brain goes into all kind of worlds. It really opens up. And quite often you enter already worlds, in theory at least, which you would usually only enter after death. Yeah, because it becomes very, yeah, it's a very thin veil.
Fluid,
Yeah, you can see that when people are dying, that they are half in, half out of the world. And so near-death experiences, in a way, lift these veils between the worlds. And in traditional shamanism, very often people were seen as being called to be a shaman when they went through those and came back. And then there's the initiation rites, which also, and I have done one of those, which also lead you in traditional terms towards a near-death experience. And when I did it, I mean, I was told many times you could die on this. Of course, I kind of knew that I wouldn't die, but the threat is there, and it opens you up to other realities. And the second reason why in traditional shamanism, often the shaman goes through that, is so that he or she learns to interact and to be within those other realities and learn to know about them. No? So for me personally, it was that one apprenticeship I did in South America, where this was the case, where the initiation, that was after a long time, the initiation was towards near death. And then I had, as I said, I had one in India very early on, where I couldn't get back into my body. That was in an ashram. And then I had a third one when I was quite ill in my mid-50s, which brought me quite close. But I wouldn't say that these were, you have these, you had them, I'm quite sure you have these tipping experiences, but they are not the whole story.
Yeah.
They just kind of show you something, and they, let's say, when I had this very serious illness in my 50s, I really decided no more psychology, no more conventional stuff. I had already before included shamanism, but I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
No matter.
Also, I'm like finding it fascinating because of like we're trying to combine both sometimes, but then a time comes when you like have to choose, or you choose your way.
That's it. And I think this kind of coming close to a physical death, that you're leaving this planet, that really gives you that push, to say, that's it. What do I want to spend the rest of my life with? No? And then income doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters anymore. You just have to go with what is your real calling now. And it changes, as you say, over time as well.
Yeah. Like I always had an issue with life purpose, and astrologically I can see why, because I just have this Chiron thingy sitting right on my medium curly, like it's the vocation point. And all I'm saying, like, I want to just mention that, like, in the end, what I'm doing astrologically, I'm doing life purpose readings for people, because my whole life I fucking struggled this bloody life purpose. I have so many talents, I could do everything I want, but like, what is it? And in the end, going through it, like facing it, being annoyed by it and frustrated and painful, like it just took so much energy out of me, that kind of also prepared me somehow for going, okay, Like maybe you can help someone just based on astrology and your experience of knowing the subject.
Exactly. And I think a friend of mine, a psychiatrist, said something that for me, that was really important. Because a bit like you, I have quite a few facets to me, and I have done different things, and I've traveled a lot, and I lived in God knows where, and I have different academic qualities and so on, and I have written books and all of this. And something in our society is saying to us, you have to find that one way. There is this one thing. And he said to me something quite interesting. He said, celebrate all the facets you have. Do not be pushed into that one box, even if the whole society says to you, you should. Sooner or later, you will know which box is more important and which is the one which you want to use. But do not pretend that you're fitting into that narrow little box. And I have stopped ever since, it's just...
That's exactly my findings too. Like you put it very beautifully into words. Because at some point I thought, fuck it. Like I'm doing,
exactly.
like I'm teaching hula hoops. I'm selling crystal wands. I'm going to become like astrologer and tarot reader, and and that changes now again. I would like to go more into education. I found my niche, I think, because I'm a Sagittarius. I get bored so fucking easily. It's like, oh, next. Tarot and astrology are so deep, like they just develop, encompass every other system somehow in them as well. So I'm kind of like going for it, but that's
and if you're lucky enough, you can bring the other stuff in, or you can bring that into another area, like into education partly. But it's really we are almost forced in this society today to find this one thing, and I have a career there. And it's, for many, it's actually not true. They're cutting parts of themselves off, to achieve that. And we need to be quite careful there. Okay, anyway.
So I have one question here from Lily in the chat. What practice can we initiate for beginners?
Say that again.
And what practice can we initiate for beginners? An example or two, if possible. So if you can give maybe one example or two for people who have totally no idea about shamanic practices.
About shamanic practices.
But it's hard. It's a big question, but yeah.
But I find there's really two things which seem to work for almost everybody at the beginning. One is shamanic journeying. You need to learn it, but it's easy to learn. It's easy to learn in the modern version. This comes from Sandra Ingerman and Michael Harner, and it's a 20 minutes approach. And it's not a guided visualization. It's like a journey. You kickstart it off and you follow it through, and you work together with spirit. And the other is ceremony. Ceremonial work is really, really wonderful if people can attend some ceremonies, shamanic ceremonies, because they kind of connect without you doing any work, in a way, the intrapsychic with the more spirit world. They connect the communities, and they kind of throw you back onto yourself, but in a wider field, like a fire ceremony. So these are the two things I would start off with. And then, of course, to be in nature as often as possible, to start to listen and to start to nourish, in a way, your earth soul. Because it's undernourished. It really is undernourished in most of us. Yeah.
And I always think of ceremonies as well, like to celebrate ceremony in your life, like little things.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, I'm always thinking of the proverbial cup of coffee that you kind of drink with intention, or
yeah, absolutely. Or a nice cup of cacao, and make a little cacao ceremony out of it. Bless the cacao, drink it with an intent. So this is my intent, and then see what happens. Yeah.
So what do you think of like cultural appropriation, and did you get what's your stand on it? Like, because we keep using a lot of
We do.
things from different tradition, making like a mix out of it, even for people who like mixing, but some people might not like mixing. What's your stance on it?
Okay, I might sound flippant, and I don't want to, because I really think these cultures have developed their tools in a way, and their way of connecting to earth and spirit over long periods of time, and they're very, very rooted in that tradition. And we need to be extremely aware of it and reference that back. If I use something, let's say I use the medicine wheel, which is a North American indigenous concept, I always say that this is where it comes from, and we think it comes even earlier, that it is rooted in the Mayan wheel, and then I tell people where. And this is how I use it. So I think we need to be very, very respectful there. But having said that, now comes the flippant bit. In the end, everything comes from spirit. I mean, spirit doesn't have borders, if you know what I mean. So the way they different cultures use what they have been given from spirit, in inverted commas, and put it into a form needs to be respected and referenced. But it also is important to understand that these things are opening up worldwide now, because the time is right. And spirit, in that very big sense, says it is right now to be used more and adapted to where we are.
Yeah, and I also am, I don't know what you think about it, but I am strongly convinced that each ancient culture had some form of shamanic practice.
Yeah.
If it's drumming, I think it was present everywhere.
Yeah.
Smudging was present everywhere, on every continent, in every country. And of course, there is cultural appropriation is very important. I think the respect here and asking often for permission, maybe it's really important, and getting probably, I don't know, because, I think some giving back as like monetary, like a compensation for people as well who taught you, or studying with people who actually can teach from this tradition. I think it's really important, so that they actually get some I don't want to say just money, because it's not just about money, but this is economics. It's really important, because I think in cultural appropriation, part of the problem was that a lot of, like, let's say us white people would go somewhere, study, and then take the knowledge, and we making money on it, rather than people who, So
it's really important. It is really important. And to give these things a thought. I mean, I do 10% of my net earnings go to usually an earth-centered course, basically. But I wanted to say, because it's interesting, I have one of my books lying here, and the first sentence in that book is, like everybody who is interested in shamanism, I'm greatly indebted to the indigenous people around the world who have, often against all odds, kept their ancient practice and teachings alive and are sharing them with us. And this is the first sentence in the book, And
what book is it, Christa? Can you show
us? This is that one, the shamanist, that my Hay
House.
House.
That's the Hay House ones.
Yeah.
And what was your first book? Because the title was interesting.
The first one was interesting because that was written when I stepped out of psychology, and then I thought, okay, I'm taking everything I know and I put it in a book, and it's called Shamanism and Spirituality in Therapeutic Practice, and that was on the strength of this. Hay House then came on to me and said, do you want to write a popular book about the subject? But coming back to what we said is really important, you know, to really acknowledge that this teachings and knowledge comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think as long as we do that, we cannot stop it to spread. It has to spread right now. No?
Yeah, because it's like a double-edged sword. Like you don't talk about it, you don't use it, it kind of slowly dies out. But I think I'm with you on this one, that I think this knowledge is here kind of gifted through certain people, but I think it's for the betterment of all people, not
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I fully agree with you now. And then the respect needs to come in, that we acknowledge that it comes from there, you know.
And I think just because historically, you know, that was just so fucked, then there was totally no respect and just belittlement and distraction. It's just so hard to rebuild that like trust that like, some people can be taught and they will be respectful and they will be caring. This,
and
even
others
if they
won't,
don't
you know,
come from that particular culture.
And others won't. And that is bad news in a way, you know, until we learn to be respectful to all of life and to everything. But it's, you know, as you just said, I mean, with our colonial history, it's it's a difficult
Yeah,
place.
And I think also, you know, in some way, I like this whole idea of going back to our own lineages. Like you German, I'm Polish, you know, we have also so much to offer from like our end of the world, let's call it. But in the end, they very similar practices, because if you go back enough, like they very similar practices. Okay, maybe we didn't call it medicine wheel and it's not exactly the same, but we all worked with directions of the world, and you know, like it's just in the end, it's really everything is very similar.
Exactly, because it's all nature-based. No?
Yes, exactly.
And that's why it is similar, because nature is. So there are four directions, you know.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
the sun in the southern hemisphere, it comes up in the east, and the sun is heat, and the sun is this and that, and light, and so on. And no matter which culture you look at, it is the earth-based traditions are very similar. They're often called a universal path, aren't they? Because the way, as you rightly say, the way it was expressed is different, but the base, how do you say, the base cosmology, the base is the same.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
So before we go on forever,
which we could,
like which we let's talk about the cards, because
the cards. We are here for the cards.
About the cards. So maybe before we just go into the deck itself, like Vanessa and you also have a school, yes, where you teach different courses, and these cards are part of, well, let's say, I don't know, part of that.
Yeah, they are. So basically, as well as Vanessa, we do our own thing. So I'm running my own stuff, and there's a nice card.
I'm just going to
show
a couple of.
But together we formed the Modern Medicine Woman Training School, and the cards are part of that. Yeah.
And you have, you know, when you sent me the deck, I told you it felt so good. And I actually, for people who don't know about the cards, I do have a full review of this deck, so you can see each of the cards. And there was something that I want to clarify here, because seeing this image, I thought it was AI created. And I personally have totally no issue with AI, but I know a lot of you are not sure. And I actually am in this, like, I believe we should know if the deck uses AI or not, so that people who don't want to ever use it just don't buy it. And people who don't care just buy it. So I thought maybe it's AI because it just looked like AI to me, this particular image, nothing on the other ones. But Christa, you said it's not AI.
No, it's not AI, but we use quite some complex Photoshop and other bits. Yeah.
Okay. So just for people to know, and well, why cards, and how can we benefit, you know, if we buy the deck, like how can we benefit from using these cards? Like what did you guys create them for?
Okay, So the cards come out actually of quite a lot of years of experience of working with women, and especially through the Medicine Woman Training School. And we felt that there was nothing out there, except there is one Medicine Woman card deck, which is actually quite good. But otherwise, there was nothing out there which directly assisted women to bring out their own medicine. And medicine, in a sense, is defined as this strength and power which we all have, and it's individually different. And so working with women for so long, we were kind of almost looking for something we can use, a tool, and just thought it's not out there. And yeah, from all the stories we heard and all the processes we went through with women, we created the card deck. And then we, of course, because we work in Glastonbury quite a lot, we asked Spirit if this is right and how it should be created. And so it took us about half a year to create it. And so we slowly created it. And what we wanted to do with the cards is kind of a mixture between photography and graphics. And we wanted to have it specifically in a form that connects very, very strongly with the message. Yeah, for example. And if you look at the guidebook, I've got it here. The guidebook is a bit unusual because each card has basically 3 sections. You might remember that it's first wisdom teaching. So we give a background. So let's say you are the life-giving force. So the wisdom teaching behind it is that a woman is the only force who can bring an unborn spirit into form.
Mm-hmm.
Feminine is the only force. And then it has some wisdom teachings. So that's basically the first part, how this was seen in tribal cultures. Then it gives you the tools, how to actually fully acknowledge that you are the life-giving form and fully acknowledge your power. It has nothing to do with whether you have children or not.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And then it gives you the medicine message. So each card has basically 3 aspects in
Sections,
the
yeah.
guidebook. Yeah. And that's quite unusual. But what we found with the cards, no matter whether every bit is correct or every image is perfect, they are quite powerful. I mean, we have used them a lot with women, and they are quite powerful.
They gave me a great first reading. I was like, oh, fuck off. No.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this right now. It was really funny. I was like, seriously, no. But I think we talked about it just before we got online, but I said in my review as well that this maybe is not an artwork that I would go and gush to my tarot community. Guys, you have to see this artwork. It's like so fucking amazing. Because now, seriously, there's so many decks. Like they popping like once a week,
there's loads of decks.
And it's like I'm working with tarot and oracle, so I'm very selective. But I think what you guys did with this, it's really picking perfect keywords, which is really important for oracle deck. Images that are very universal and very perfectly match that keywords that you picked.
Yeah.
And the cards have good energy. I don't even know how to explain it. That's why I thought like maybe I'm kind of drawn to Avalon and Glastonbury energy, because I didn't even know about it until I read it in the book. But when I pulled them out, I felt like, oh, that feel good. And I have another oracle, Lemurian Starchild Oracle, which also is totally not my cup of tea, because I'm not really connecting to any of these Lemurian things. And the artwork is, objectively, it's an artwork. It can be like this, beautiful to some, and they would, go, wow, it's amazing. To some, it's like whatever. And these people work in Glastonbury as well. And I love this fucking oracle, even if it's totally not my art style, like per se, So I don't know, maybe it is something with this energy.
It is the energy of the cards, and that's what people did feel, because they haven't been out long. But I mean, we had kind of feedback like, oh, I'm drawing a card every morning. Oh, Well, really, because I think it is the energy that seems to match, and partly it comes out of a long experience of working with women.
Yeah.
They seem
So
to work for some men, but they especially work for women,
So would you not pull a card a day? Is it too often? How often would you pull them?
Oh, if you want to pull a card twice a day, that's fine with me. I personally don't, but yeah, it's so. What you would usually do is you have the simplest way, isn't it? Is to pull a card with a question in mind, and then you look at a card for a while. You let come what comes. Then you take the guidebook and you have a look what it actually means. What you haven't. What you have sensed in a way, no? And then you connect that with your question, and hopefully it points you in the right direction, and it shows you the way, or it gives you the answer. And sometimes the simple answer is enough, and sometimes you need what we have done with the card. You need the tools, now, because as I said, the book tells you. So this is what you can actually do. No?
Yeah, so you would suggest like going into a shamanic journey with it, or doing some ritual stuff,
or do a ritual, or
creating an altar,
or ask yourself, where do I put myself down? Where did I learn that? The bigger story, for example, is one of these cards that we all tell ourselves a story which is much too small, and then in the guidebook gives you some ideas how you can enlarge your story. So this is how it's a simple way. It's really just one card, isn't it? You with a question. And then you can, of course, do a spread of, let's say, you have an issue and you want past, here, now, future. No? And you pull 3 cards and you do the same. Or you can, you know that even better than I do, don't you? You can go around. You can go around in the directions. So if you know a bit about the directions, the booklet gives you some guidance there. But if you go, so I pull a card. Let's say for the West, which is the deep, dark feminine. I pull a card for the East, which is the masculine. So and then I'm looking at it. Are these? What do the cards reveal about these 4 aspects, which are all in me?
Yeah.
And so you get a card and you get the idea. I don't like this. Oh, I love this one, and then just pay attention what you're doing here to yourself. Which of your aspects do you reject? Now, so you can do all kind of stuff with the cards. You can do a whole therapy session on the cards for yourself if you want to.
What would you say, Christa, if we pulled one card for a person from the audience?
Let's pull one. Whoa, we get on with time. Let's pull one.
We can, so one person, if you guys want, one person who writes, do we want a question from a person?
I think everybody can maybe have a question in their mind, and we do a chat.
Okay. You guys have a question in their mind. I pull one card, and Christa, you give us a gist. I can add something if I feel like I see anything else, but okay, that's like some how do I block this person? I don't know. Put user in timeout, 24 hours. Okay. So, guys, whoever is in the chat, please have a question in your mind, and we're going to pull a card. So it's going to kind of be, general, but hopefully you hear what you need to hear in response to your question, okay?
I think that is important. You take in what you want. You hear what you need to hear. To get
so sit down, take a deep breath, have a question in mind. I'm pulling a card. Christa, are you ready?
Well, I'm having a question too, so go on. Yeah.
Okay, well, wait, me too then.
Go for it.
All right, so, one of my favorite cards.
Oh, I love that card.
Such a beautiful artwork. This
Follow your dreams. Yes. And this is a beautiful card in Sofa. Have a look. I love the third eye where we have that crystal, and going up into, and it's quite and she is really dreaming. It's a very dreamy card, isn't it? Because she is dreaming. She's not looking at details. She dreams. She is in a different world. And I think follow your dreams is hugely important, because your dream will bring you fulfillment if you follow it. And you can find out your dream by simply following your heart. Not all of us have the big vision as a dream, oh, this is what my life is about. Of course, if I'm a born musician, my dream is to be a musician, and I follow it, and it's quite easy, but most of us don't. So follow your dream says, if you follow your heart, that which gives you joy, that which you like doing, that which you love, this is part of your dream. And your heart, in its purest form, conveys the messages of your soul. And your soul has a dream. In this life, it has a dream, whatever that dream is. And only if you follow it, if you go towards fulfilling that dream, will you get rid of that nagging little voice in the back of your mind, which says, oh, but I could do, and I could do more, and I'm not quite there, and I need to maybe this, and so on. Follow your dream means start with following exactly what's in your heart. And then number 2 is dream. Take time to dream. We are in such a busy society. I know that myself, and Kasia knows it, and everybody else knows it. We are busy, 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 busy. We are doing. And if we don't do, we consume. Entertainment, television, this, that. Sit down and dream. Just have very quiet periods and say, I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming my life into being. I'm dreaming about this and that and the other, and what comes to my mind, and I'm asking the question, what would I love, what would I love to create, what would I love to bring into this world? Take time to dream. Find the dream through your heart, and through taking time to dream, follow it. It's the only thing worthwhile doing.
Can I just butt in with this? Take time to dream, because I noticed, I've been to Vipassana 10-day silent retreats for like 4 times.
Yeah. I remember that. I have done
that. So I went 4 times, right? And every time I noticed this. So you go there and you have no input, right? No book, no music, no TV, nothing, just you and your brain, no talking to anybody, no listening to anybody. Whenever I come out of these 10 days, I'm like bursting with ideas. I can't contain how many ideas I have. And that always, that's exact like kind of example of what you just said, take time to dream. And I love how she's got open eyes, like you don't have to remove yourself totally from the face of the world and go and close yourself in Vipassana, but like take time to dream. It's really important.
Absolutely. Take time to dream. And it's, well, you know it and I know it, Kasia, this idea, you're only imagining this. Your imagination is the most important ability you have. No? So follow your dream. I was curious of the medicine message of the card. I just had a quick look, and it says, follow your dream, tells you that now is the time to focus on dreams, on that which is meaningful, purposeful, and heartfelt for you, on that which you would like to create. It asserts that you have the power, means, and assistance from spirit to do that, and to live a meaningful and heart-centered life with joy, but you must dream.
Oh, beautiful. And I also, I'm drawn to this starfish, because starfish, when you cut one arm, it grows it back. So I also felt like even if something goes off, usually we meet challenges. It's not always like, oh yeah, I have this dream and it just falls into your lap.
It doesn't.
Like, and I just thought like starfish is a perfect example here. It's like, even if you lose an arm, like regroup and you will regrow it and it will be the better for you, like, so just don't give up, basically.
I fully agree with you. And sometimes, there's this saying, to see the path unfolding, you have to start walking it. And it's not that you always have to, I don't know if you don't have to full picture. You don't have to full what is happening. And the stumbling blocks belong to it. But you kind of just have to have an idea of what is close to your heart and what you would like to go towards, and then start walking.
It's so true. Also, I often, when I teach about tarot, like, or astrology, when you become a reader and you use cards professionally, you work with cards and images with people, and people ask like, what's your style? I'm like, I had no idea what my style is until I started doing it. I've done email readings for 2 years, and I thought I'm going to shoot myself and die before I become a email tarot reader. Like, that's no, I would like burn all the emails in my computer and just fuck. Like, I'm not reading for anybody on via email. Totally not my style. But I had to do it to figure it out. So goodbye, one arm of the starfish, and slowly you find your style, like you say, like small bits and pieces. It doesn't have to be I quit my job, move. Like, sometimes yes, okay, but usually it's like, just try.
Yeah. And when I said before that for me, the shamanic side of it came in slowly, and then suddenly also I had a few big pushes. But it's not that I instantly thought, no more university lecturing, no more seeing clients, no more doing this, that, drop it all. No, I started integrating it, and then suddenly, and the dream was always to work in a more, in a fuller way.
Holistic, yeah.
Yeah, but the individual steps were necessary to do that now. But for that, you kind of need to take time to just sit down, do nothing, go out in nature, go on a vision quest, do something like you with the Vipassana, just create that dream space, that space where you can dream safely and securely, and let that brain open, because it's half of the time completely closed down.
Yeah.
These
Through
layers.
busyness and those little petty things that we call reality. And have to deal with them, or don't have to, but deal with them. Yeah.
And we have to an extent, don't we? We all have to make a living. We all have to deal with the phone bill, to this, to that, and look what's happening around us. I mean, it is a challenging time we're going through. And we still must make time to dream. That's what the card says.
Yeah, wow, this cat is so beautiful. I just like love how she looks. So like lucid dreaming. So Marina wrote that follow your dream. That's huge confirmation for her, and that 10-day Vipassana retreats do the same. That so many ideas are emerging then. So that's basically a dreaming. That's just being in solitude and not.
Exactly. And just calming that chatter down, so that there is a kind of idea that the brain has a certain amount of energy, and then it depends where you direct the energy. And if you calm that frontal lobe down, that chatter mind, and it takes a while, doesn't it? And then when the body is uncomfortable, sitting in Vipassana, takes a while to overcome it. But at one point, this something opens up, and stuff starts to come, because you don't give energy to anything else. You're dreaming in a way.
And it's interesting with Vipassana, because I think our brains really rule us. And like you mentioned, it's like they have closed. That's what happens to pain also. You often experience this in Vipassana when you're like, not for the first time when I went, but like third time, I thought like, oh my God, like I can understand the saying you can transcend pain, because you hold on to that story. Like your brain is like fucking making up stories for you. Like you sit there and you think, I'm going to die if I sit like in this position 5 more minutes, right? And
And
then
you don't, no?
and then you don't die, and like you suddenly don't feel pain, and you go like, what happened? Where is this pain gone? Like it was so painful. I thought my leg is going to fall off. Like what happened to it? So you kind of start doubting that like loud voice and connecting to the different, like the body voice in some way, to those sensation voice. And I think it's like just I would suggest everybody at least once in a lifetime should get an astrology reading and should go to a Vipassana.
And should get some cards.
And do some and get a medicine woman.
Cards. Exactly. This is a very good point too.
Yeah, hello everyone. Hi Carol, nice to see you. So you guys, do you want to maybe say that like I've seen on your website that you are doing a class on divination soon?
Oh yeah, that's we do that on and off. We do 3 evenings just on divination. So we 2 hours interactive via Zoom. The next one starts this Thursday, and then the Thursday after, and the Thursday after, and it's UK time from 7 to 9. You can find it on the website. And then we are running that quite big medicine woman training that starts again in March, I think.
Next year at some
Yeah,
point.
it runs once a year. It starts in March, and we do the on-off smaller workshops and groups. We're working quite well together because Vanessa and I come from 2 different angles. She's a Reiki master and also uh, a body work. Embodiment is her big thing, and she's very good at it with dance and movement and all of this. And I'm coming more from the shamanic ceremonial journeying side. And so when we combine, it's usually a fantastic combination. But as I said, we also do both our own thing. So the Medicine Woman School is one of the ventures. And yes, have a look at the website. It is specifically
connect it.
Yeah, it is specifically for women.
So I will connect all the information below in the description box as usual for your website and for the school's website as well, and Vanessa's website. Is there anything else before we say goodbye that you would like to maybe say, or?
What I would like to say is blessings to you all, to you and to all the people there who I can't see, but I guess you have a few people. And yeah, and just let's keep dreaming, The world needs dreamers. We must now dream a new world into being in a way, and it's not easy. As you see out there are a lot of very dense forces, and we must keep dreaming. We mustn't fall into that trap of that we are powerless. We can do that. We can create the new on so many levels, and more people are beginning to see that. But I think for that we really need to dream. Just coming back to that card. We mustn't get lost in the day in, day out small stuff. We must every once in a while step out and just dream. Also the bigger collective, sending out our good wishes, being feeling into what's going on, sending out, share the medicine with the world. Yeah.
And I think sometimes it feels so counterproductive in our society to just do nothing, it's like
but it isn't doing nothing. That's the beauty, no? It is
exactly
of letting it's do nothing which doesn't instantly earn you money. That's kind of the idea, isn't it? And we so hooked on it. It's frightening. Yeah, so I wanted to send blessings to everybody and really remind ourselves that we have a power to dream and that we can send out good things, and that we need to take the time to see who we are and what we are, not what we are here for, but what positive we can contribute. And it's small, because that's the other thing. Society always wants us to achieve big. It's not. we're building a net. So I wanted to say that. And then the Medicine Woman Training School, yes, come to one of the courses. It's accredited, certificated, all of the stuff society wants. And then I wanted to say thank you to Katja for inviting me to talk to her and with her.
Yes, thank you so much for agreeing to come. It was lovely to have you as a guest. And let's keep dreaming. Perfect message for us, because the systems are kind of, I think, shaking. So now we really need a strong vision.
Of course they are shaking.
And it might be difficult to see through the haze, as you said, dense energies, but we have to keep our course of what we would like to see from this world, and not other way around.
And I think this is where the feminine will play a big role. I mean, not the successful career woman at the top of our politics, the feminine, where our values turn from into community, into love, into caring for each other, into connection, from the separation and so on. And it's, let's keep dreaming.
Yep. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. And to all the people who will be rewatching it as well. So, Christa, thank you. I'm going to say